Hello folks, my name is Colin Simpson and I have over 30 years experience in the hairdressing industry, and 3 years ago we set up yoyscissors.com to sell hairdressing scissors and help hairdressers to make a better choice when it comes to sharpening and to purchase their scissors. One very important point I'd like to talk to you about is the servicing and sharpening of hairdressing scissors. It's my personal opinion, as I visit salons on a daily basis, that over 60% of the scissors I see have not been sharpened properly. One well-known and respected company actually claims that more than 90% of hairdressing scissors in salons are not sharpened properly. The other statistic that they claim is that 98% of hairdressers do not look after their scissors properly and correctly. So I'm going to give you a few little tips today just about how to select the best sharpener and how to go on from there. It is really difficult for you to choose a really good sharpening company, and doing so is like playing Russian roulette with your precious blades. What I would recommend is to when you discuss it with a sharpener, is to ask him lots of good questions and ask him and test his knowledge of the hairdressing industry. If you ask him about prices, different models, different styles, how long he's been in the industry, and ask for recommendations, the best way beforehand would be to consult with your friends, colleagues, teachers, the salon owner, find out who they're using for sharpening and ask them, because if they've had a good job done, chances are you will too. But a good sharpener will come into the salon and talk to you. It's very much like you would be with your clients. Have a consultation with him, show him your blades, tell him and ask him what he thinks is wrong with them. And then if he picks them up, you should be able to know from the way you're discussing with them how he would go about sharpening them. I personally believe that if a consultation is done properly, then you should get a very good job done. Most people good companies will come into the salon and do the actual sharpening in front of you. Some of the sharpeners who use their vans take them out, and they also do chef's knives, garden shears, lawnmowers, hedge trimmers, that sort of thing. And it's a totally different job to working on your precious blades, which have to be absolutely perfect. In previous days, when you were lifting up hair and just cutting hair, the edge didn't have to be quite so precise. And most hairdressing scissors don't need sharpened because the blades have gone blunt. In most cases it's because they've been dropped, put in a tool bag, bashed, hit off razors, hit off thinning scissors when they're pulled out and in cases, and pulled out and in hairdressing pouches. So what we would do is try and remove these nicks and try and leave as much of the blade on the scissor as possible. Some sharpeners remove most of the blade, and some of them remove a good section of the blade to put a new edge on. We're trying to keep these edges as near as possible to the day you got the scissor. Because nowadays, with modern cutting techniques of chipping in, slice cutting, coming down into the hair, these edges have to be really razor sharp all day, every day. And we're finding that we're sharpening scissors more, but taking less off. And if it is just a little nick, we sharpen and then we polish the blade up so it's perfect for slice cutting and point cutting after we finish. But to do that, we have to take the scissor apart, and it takes us 20 to 30 minutes to do a scissor. I've seen some cases where a sharpener's gone out to the van with 5 or 6 pairs and be back in the salon in 20 minutes with the whole. Because we are UK dealers for most of the top companies, people like Joel, Casio, Matsuzaki, Mizutani, Meraki, a lot of these companies, well, all of these companies are made and manufactured in Japan. But most scissors have a different angle on the blades. So because we're UK dealers for the top companies, we know exactly the correct angle to set the blades at when we're sharpening them for you. And as I say, our prime ambition is to have these scissors as near as possible to the new condition, not just to sharpen the edges. The high performance blades that are on them have to perform at a certain angle, and that's what we're there to do. It doesn't matter how long it takes, we'll only charge the same price. We'll replace any stoppers that are missing. If finger rests are missing, we'll replace that. We'll take out the screw and we'll oil the screw for you, and as I say, we'll test the whole length of the blade. You can even try it in here before we leave the salon. If any of you would like to send the scissors in to us, we do an express return service, and we also do free post for you to post in to us. The other thing which I mentioned earlier in this little presentation was how to look after your scissors properly. Once we've done them, once you've sharpened them, or if you've bought a new pair of scissors, it's very important that you look after them properly. To get the best out of them, what we recommend is to first of all set the scissor at the right tension. It should be at the right tension when it arrives to you. I was previously showing you a Joel 5.5 inch, which is the biggest seller in the industry. But there are different ways to produce this best performance. So what I'd like to do is show you, this is a slightly bigger scissor. It's the Asahi Chopper 6.5, very popular, probably the best selling big scissor we have in Scotland at the moment. It's cobalt metal and it sells for about £220. But the most important part for looking after your scissors is to correctly set the scissor at the right tension. Now if the scissor's too slack, which this one is, what you'll do is you'll force the blades together and you'll actually wear away the edges. You could cause a little bit of tension yourself in the back of your hand. So the perfect tension test is to hold one edge straight up and down and then let the other one drop. If it closes like this, then it's far too slack. The correct tension is when you let the scissor go and it's exactly like this at the tip. Okay, so it shouldn't quite close when you let it go. The difference, as you can see, between too slack, that's perfect. There we go. So once you get the scissor set at that angle and that amount of tension, then you're working perfectly. The scissor will cut right down to the tip. If you tighten the nut too tightly, then again what you're doing is you're wearing away the very edges on the scissor. If it's too tight, when you hold a Japanese scissor up to the light, you should see a very slight gap. The blades are slightly curved in from that side and in from that side. When you hold it up to the light, there is a slight gap. Therefore, if you tighten it too tightly and you're working with a scissor, then you'll wear away the very tips. The reason they're slightly curved is so that all the way down, as you close the blade in and out, they cut right down to the very tip. If you're just point cutting with the very, very end, it's working perfectly right down to there. So that's the best tension test for looking after the scissors. The other thing is to oil the scissors every 2 or 3 days. Just pop a spot of oil in here, a spot of oil on here, same on the reverse, one there and one there. If you don't have scissor oil at the salon, then clipper oil will do. But if you look in the new section on scissor sharpening, you'll see a scissor maintenance kit for sale there. You simply work that oil into the scissor, and what that does is it stops hair building up in the centre of the scissor. You can actually see some hair that's come out of this one. If that was left just on its own to dry hard inside the tension nut and inside the workings of the screw, then that will dry up, damage the screw and stop the scissor working properly. So by oiling it, you keep that hair moving flow and keep the scissor working properly. Also, at the end of every day, what to do is take a soft scissor cloth and simply wipe any chemicals off your scissor. That way you won't deteriorate the edges with any chemicals that are lying on that overnight. So that's the perfect way to look after your scissors. The other thing I'd like you to do is, if you keep your scissor protected, and buy a little pouch from the salon. They come in a variety of colours. We've got pink, we've got the leopard print, and we've got plain black. So by putting the scissor into one of the little sections inside the pouch, you're protecting that scissor every time you use it. So to me, something like this, it's maybe doing yourself a little bit of business, but I would rather see you look after the scissors properly. So just to finish off with, folks, thanks a lot for listening. But if any of you would like any more help, you can either email us through the website at yoyscissors.com, or if any of you would like to telephone, we have a free phone number, 08000 467 430. If any of you would like to ring us and talk to myself or talk to one of the scissor experts, then ring us in, and no matter what the problem is or the difficulties you're having with the scissor, give us a ring and we'll sort something out for you. So thanks for listening, bye.